This makes me think. Should my clubs have stiff or extra stiff shafts? What are the different flex profiles available? Probably best to speak to an expert. While it's important to understand which shaft flex category you fall into, it's more important to understand the subcategories of each flex. Mark, it's a deep subject when it comes to shafts. I know there's a lot of differences between each individual shaft, but for starters, what are the main categories of shafts? I believe there's 5, right?
So lady flex basically is 60 to 70 miles an hour with the driver. You got senior, which is 70 to 80 in general. Then you've got regular, which is basically 80 to 90 miles an hour with the driver. Stiff, which is 90 to 100-ish. And over 100, you get into the X flexes. But those are the main 5. Essentially what it is this, right? The faster you swing, the more load you put in a shaft, the stiffer it needs to be so it's not uncontrollable. And the way we explain it to people, when we work with tour players, we're trying to get the stiffest shaft for them that doesn't feel like a post. Whereas the average amateur and stuff, we're trying to get the softest shaft they can control. You know, tour players are really worried about direction, so a little bit air on the stiff side is more important, whereas your average amateur is looking a little more towards distance.
And one thing that you said that I thought was very interesting was the head of a driver, that's this, ball flight here. The shaft is really left to right on where your ball's gonna go, right?
The real purpose of the shaft is you can fine tune this a little bit, but it's really side to side. So if you get the right shaft flex, you tend to hit a lot straighter. If it's too soft, it tends to go everywhere. In general, if it's too stiff, for most average golfers, it goes low right.
So a lot of people don't probably realize that. The shaft is dictating
The shaft is your directional thing.
Yeah.
You get that wrong and you can hit it everywhere.
You've got these 5 categories of shafts, right?
Yep.
Is there a standard between stiffness between all these?
No, there really isn't. That's the problem, right? I mean, this would make it really simple if we had standards in the industry, which we don't. So what is stiff? Is it a certain flex or weight? No, it doesn't mean anything. It just means stiff. It's a marketing term. The problem is what it says on the shaft isn't necessarily what they are. So I've got 2 shafts here, right? Both say stiff on them. Same head, so they're both Maverick 9-degree drivers. One's a Ventus by Fujikura. The other one I got here is a Mitsubishi shaft, which is a lighter weight by quite a bit. Also says stiff right on it.
Okay.
So let's put them in the machine real quick and we'll see how stiff they really are.
Okay.
So the first shaft we're showing here says 227, which is kind of like a senior flex, even though the thing says stiff on it.
Wow.
Actually measures 4.0-ish. The second shaft we're putting in here is more of a true stiff, is what I would call it anyway. And this one's 245, so it's quite a bit stiffer, almost 2 full flexes. Essentially every 10 CPMs is a flex.
Gotcha.
So we'll give that a try and hit a few balls with that one. That's pretty solid there.
That felt good.
Yeah. Try this one just out of curiosity. You'll notice a pretty big difference there.
They're both stiff shafts, but feel completely different. I mean, look at this.
You can go fishing with it.
Yeah.
Let me grab one other one for you. You're kind of between a stiff and an X. Oh, this is actually an Acra shaft. This is still stiff, but it's actually stiffer by a full flex than the last one you tried.
Wow. Well, I already like the way it feels.
That'll work. That's going down the middle with a tiny bit of a fade.
It's in the fairway.
It's a lot stiffer. See, the idea of a stiffer shaft is you'll hit it straighter.
All right. I hit 3 stiff shafts,
Right.
but the results were obviously way different.
The same driver head, identical head. 3 shafts, all said stiff on them. All totally different.
A lot of videos on the internet that just break it down like, oh, are you a stiff? Are you a regular?
Within those flexes, there's a pretty big range. The flex designations are more marketing terms than they are actual physical numbers.
Yeah. Don't get caught up in the marketing. Actually get fit.
Yeah.